Hey guys, welcome back here to The Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys tuning in for today's episode. Guys, today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite cold water lures anytime the water temperature is sort of between 55 and 45 degrees, and that's this Megabass Flap Slap crankbait, guys. This is like a shad imitator, flat-sided crankbait. Comes in a lot of different colors. It's got a lot of different crawdad variations, which I like in the colder months, and it also has different shad and perch patterns. But for today's episode, we're going to be really concentrated on the crawdad patterns for this time of year. But this thing is deadly in cold water. Actually, before a lot of people think crankbaits start working, you can start catching them on this. So in today's video, I'm going to go over the exact set of circumstances and situations that if you find this in the lake you're fishing, this flap slap is going to catch you a bunch of fish. And also, guys, I'll put the Megabass Flap Slap link in my Tackle Warehouse link description in this video if you guys would like to order one using that link. Get you some good baits, good way to help the channel out, and much appreciated with that. Okay, guys, I've been catching them on this thing forever. In fact, a lot of you guys that have been with me for a long time, you've heard me talking about the flap slap, quite a bit over the past. It's one of those baits that, guys, I don't understand. It's like you get some baits out there that really get overhyped, like a jig head minnow or something like that. You don't hardly ever hear people talking about this, but a bunch of pros use this thing, and this thing is so deadly. I don't understand why it hasn't caught on. And it's like a lot of other stuff in fishing. It's like people tend to follow trends. And if there are some tournaments that people do well on a certain bait, they pick it up, but maybe not so much if they don't. But this one has had a lot of tournament success. Guys, the biggest limit I ever weighed in a bass tournament, a Bassmaster tournament, which was 25 pounds, 7 ounces, came on this exact bait at Lake Guntersville. I told Edwin Evers about it, and he led the Bassmaster Classic on Guntersville on it. So it's had its share of success, but it just for some reason hadn't caught on. Okay, let's talk a little bit about how you want to fish this and where you want to fish it. First of all, the flap slap, it'll run about probably, it's not a deep runner. It'll only run about probably 5, maybe 6 foot deep on a really long cast with light line. So if you put it on 8-pound test fluorocarbon line and make a really long cast with it, it may get down 6 feet or so. And it is a bait, it's not designed to deflect. So this is a bait that you're not deflecting over limbs, or you're not digging into rock with it. It's sort of like a cross between a crankbait and a jerkbait. So you want to keep this thing above the bottom. And depending upon the situation, I'm either fishing it like in the mid water column, say for example, if water's 6 foot deep, I'm reeling at 3 feet. Or more apt, I like to fish it where it's just off the bottom. So let's say, for example, I think the fish are in 4 to 5 foot of water. I want to get this thing where it's about, say if my hand's at the bottom, about this far off the bottom, that's where it really, really works good. So that's one thing to remember. And another thing, the retrieve on the flap slap is a lot different than a lot of other crankbaits out there. It's like, a cross between a crankbait and a jerkbait. So when I throw the flap slap out there, guys, I'll throw it out there, and I'm not just reeling it like a crankbait. Usually what I do is I'll throw it out there, I'll reel it down, and once it gets down, after 7 or 8 cranks, then I start just pulling it and just cranking it like that and pulling it and maybe twitching a little bit. So I'll reel it down 5 or 6 cranks, and then I'll pull it like that and maybe twitch the rod tip, almost like a jerkbait, but not quite like a jerkbait. And then I may reel it for 10 cranks or so, and then pull it again and twitch it a few times. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this thing to look like it's coming down like this, and I'm trying to get like it's erratic coming through the water, just twitching like that. I get a lot more bites on it when I do that. And another thing, guys, is you definitely want to add, like I've got here, some suspend strips to it. In the cold water, you do not want this thing floating up. You want it either suspending neutral or just barely sinking like that. So you can sometimes put 2 larger hooks on it, or if you prefer the smaller ones, just put you some suspend strips on the bottom and weight it down where it's neutral buoyant. Okay, now let's talk about the areas that it works good in. My number one success I've had with the flap slap, it's real close, 2 different scenarios. Number one is cranking it over submerged grass in cold water. So if you have a lake that has hydrilla or milfoil that's growing up 3 or 4 or 5 foot off the bottom, it is deadly during the winter time in the pre-spawn. All you guys that fish those TVA lakes, some of the Texas lakes, this thing will be money in those situations. But for most situations, like most people don't have grass in the lakes they fish, my number one cold water area for this is either a steep riprap bank or some type of a steeper rocky channel bank. So what I like to do is I like to get on those steep riprap banks, like on a dam riprap. I'll make a long cast parallel to it, try to keep it just above the rocks in that 4 to 5 foot zone, or the same on a channel, a steep, like a 60-degree or 45-degree rocky bank or bluff. Same type of deal, long parallel cast, trying to keep it close to the bottom. And the water visibility is critical on this. This is not a clear water bait, that you're not going to do any good on it in clear water. This is a more off-colored deal, not dirty, but off-colored. So the ideal flap slap water visibility is like 1 to 2 foot. If you have, 12 to 20 inches of water visibility we're fishing, deadly, deadly, deadly with this. It's just, it catches big ones. I don't know what the thing is with it, guys, but this is one of those baits. I guess maybe it's the time of the year, but man, I catch a bigger fish on this thing more than about any other lure that I can throw crankbait wise. But anyway, guys, deadly bait, man. Like I said, I recommend throwing it on 8 to 10 pound test Seaguar and Vizex line. You can throw it on a spinning rod or a medium action bait caster, medium slow retrieve, varying it up just like what I talked about. It'll get you some big bites there. So hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.